There's nothing quite like the stress of airport security to put a damper on your travel day. But with a few smart strategies, you can skip the chaos, breeze through those lines, and head to your gate with time to spare. Let's break down 26 essential tips for getting through TSA quickly and efficiently. Packing with security in mind. The preparation for a smooth TSA experience starts long before you even arrive at the airport. How you pack your bags will make or break your security line experience. To avoid digging through your luggage in the middle of a busy line, you've got to pack smart from the get-go. First, focus on your liquids. The TSA has strict rules. Every liquid you bring must be in a container no larger than 3.4 ounces, or 100 milliliters, and all of them should fit into a quart-sized clear plastic bag. This bag should be easily accessible. Don't bury it at the bottom of your carry-on. When the time comes to place your items on the conveyor belt, you'll want to quickly pull out your liquids without disrupting your packing. But it's not just liquids that need attention. Prescription medication should be easy to access too. You don't want to get caught up in line searching for your pills while everyone else is sailing through. Have your meds separate in your personal item and ready in case you're asked to show them. It's rare for security to scrutinize prescription medication, but it can happen. Make sure everything is labeled correctly and keep any related paperwork close at hand. Electronics are another common roadblock in security. Items like laptops, tablets, and even smaller gadgets like e-readers and Bluetooth devices will need to be scanned separately. Just like with your liquids, you should pack these items in a way that allows you to remove them easily without turning your luggage upside down. The key to speeding through TSA is to eliminate the need to rummage around once you're in line. An organized bag is your first step to a stress-free experience. Arriving early for peace of mind. Timing is everything when it comes to clearing security. The more time you give yourself, the less stress you'll feel as you navigate the checkpoint. The general rule of thumb is to arrive at the airport 2 hours before a domestic flight and 3 hours before an international one. But depending on the time of year, it might be smart to add an extra hour. During peak travel seasons like the holidays, airports are packed, and lines can be unexpectedly long. You might be thinking, why bother arriving so early? Well, the peace of mind is worth it. If you're cutting it close and face long lines, you'll be in panic mode, which won't help you get through security any faster. If you arrive early, you have time to calmly assess the situation and follow each step without rushing. Now, there's one thing you should check on your boarding pass as soon as you receive it. Those dreaded 4 letters SSS. If you see this code on your ticket, it means you've been randomly selected for secondary screening. Secondary screening means a more thorough check, where you'll likely be asked to step aside for an extended inspection of your belongings and possibly some questioning. If you're part of a trusted traveler program like TSA PreCheck, this code will override any privileges, so be prepared to remove your liquids and electronics just like everyone else. Knowing you've been flagged for additional screening ahead of time allows you to mentally prepare and budget for the extra time it'll take. Dressing for success. Your clothing choices can either help you breeze through security or turn the process into a frustrating delay. To minimize holdups, you should avoid wearing anything with excessive metal. Belts, heavy jewelry, watches, or shoes with metallic embellishments. These items will almost always trigger the metal detector, requiring you to take them off and put them in a bin, adding more steps to the process. Instead, opt for comfortable, easy-to-remove clothing. Shoes should be slip-ons if possible. Trust me, the last thing you want is to be that person holding up the line, crouching down to untie a complicated pair of lace-up boots while everyone behind you sighs in frustration. And speaking of shoes, always wear socks. Walking barefoot through the scanner not only feels uncomfortable, but it's also not the most hygienic option. Another thing to keep in mind is layers. Airports are notorious for temperature fluctuations, so you might be tempted to wear multiple layers. But remember, you'll need to remove any jackets, coats, or bulky sweaters before stepping through the body scanner. It's best to wear something light and carry your jacket, or at least be prepared to take it off quickly. Finally, steer clear of controversial graphic t-shirts or clothing with potentially offensive slogans. While this might not always result in a delay, You want to avoid drawing unnecessary attention from TSA agents, whose job is already tough enough without the distraction of passengers' bold fashion statements. Organize like a pro. Having a system for your personal belongings can make a world of difference when you're at the front of the line. Rather than emptying your pockets haphazardly into a tray, adopt a method that keeps everything organized and easily retrievable. Here's a tip. Before you even get into line, transfer everything from your pants pockets, your phone, keys, wallet, into your jacket pockets. Since you'll have to take off your jacket anyway, this keeps all your valuables together in one place and reduces the risk of forgetting something on the other side of the scanner. It also saves you from the awkward shuffle of trying to collect loose items from multiple trays. And while we're on the topic of pockets, make sure you fully empty them before walking through the scanner. Even a small piece of gum or a tissue can set off the alarm, causing you and everyone behind you unnecessary delays. It's a small but important detail to remember. Once you've cleared the scanner, it's time to gather your belongings. Don't rush. Take a moment to double-check that you've picked up all of your items. In the hustle and bustle of security, it's easy to accidentally leave something behind, like a wallet or a pair of sunglasses. To make sure everything is accounted for, keep an eye on your items as they pass through the X-ray machine and wait until all your belongings are on the conveyor belt before moving on. Stay alert in the line. While waiting in the TSA line, it's easy to tune out and let your mind wander. But staying alert can save you valuable time. Pay attention to the signs around you. Airports often post reminders about what needs to come out of your bag, what can stay in, and any additional security measures that might be in place. TSA agents are constantly repeating instructions, so listen carefully to what they're saying. They're there to keep the line moving, and following their guidance will help you avoid mistakes that can slow down the process. Also, keep an eye on the travelers ahead of you. If you see them taking off their shoes, removing electronics, or placing certain items in the bins, it's a good indication that you'll need to do the same. If you're ever unsure, don't hesitate to ask the agent before you get to the front of the line. A quick question could save you from having to go through the whole process twice if something in your bag isn't packed correctly. Don't be that person with oversized liquids. Here's a mistake that happens far too often. People forgetting that their oversized liquids won't make it through security. It's important to remember that any liquid over 3.4 ounces isn't allowed in your carry-on. Trying to sneak it through, whether intentionally or by accident, will result in it being confiscated, and you'll end up holding up the line. This rule applies not just to water bottles, but to anything spreadable, pourable, or sprayable. Yes, that means even items like peanut butter, sunscreen, or hairspray fall under the liquid category. If it's larger than 3.4 ounces, it's not coming with you through security. Be sure to pack any questionable items in your checked luggage, or better yet, buy travel-sized versions. The key here is preparation. Have your liquids bag and any other necessary items ready to go in an easily accessible spot before you even approach the scanner. The last thing you want is to be the person who's holding up the line, digging through their carry-on for liquids. Keep an eye on your stuff. Once your items are on the conveyor belt, your focus needs to shift to keeping an eye on them as they pass through the scanner. It's your responsibility to make sure nothing gets lost or misplaced. Keep a close watch on your bags, especially if you have valuable items like electronics in the bins. It's not unheard of for items to get mixed up at the other end of the scanner, especially when the line is busy. Be vigilant and double-check that everything is accounted for before walking away. You don't want to realize you're missing something important, like your laptop, after you've already left the security area. Another tip? Avoid walking through the body scanner before your items are actually on the conveyor belt. Wait until your belongings are in motion before you step forward. This way, you can ensure that your items aren't sitting unattended on the other side, which minimizes the risk of theft or mix-ups. Choose the right line. Not all TSA lines are created equal, and choosing the right one can make a big difference in how quickly you get through security. A little observation can go a long way here. If you spot a line with two agents working together at the security scanner, chances are one of them is in training. This often means the line will move slower as the trainee learns the ropes. Whenever possible, opt for a different line. Another trick? Look at the type of travelers in each line. Business travelers usually have their routine down and can get through security faster. Families, on the other hand, often have more bags, strollers, and children to manage, which naturally takes more time. If speed is your priority, pick a line with more solo travelers or business people. Use TSA apps to beat the line. Here's a pro tip that can save you time before you even leave home. Use apps like MyTSA or websites like sawwaittimes.com to check real-time updates on security line wait times at your airport. These tools give you a heads up on what to expect, just like checking the weather before you head out for the day. Security lines can change quickly, and knowing what you're walking into can make a world of difference in how early you need to arrive. While nothing's guaranteed, having this information helps you plan accordingly and avoid any last-minute surprises. Never leave luggage with strangers. As tempting as it might be to ask someone to hold your spot in line or watch your bags while you quickly run to the restroom, never leave your luggage with a stranger. This is a serious security risk, not just for you, but for the person you're asking as well. TSA guidelines are clear. Everyone is responsible for their own belongings. Leaving your luggage unattended or asking someone else to keep an eye on it opens up a host of potential issues. The other person has no idea what's in your bag, and it's their word against yours if something goes wrong. If you need to leave the line, take your belongings with you. It might be inconvenient, but it's far safer for everyone involved. Brief your group for smooth sailing. Traveling with family or a group adds another layer of complexity to your airport experience, especially when it comes to getting through TSA. Before you even get in line, take a moment to brief everyone on what to expect. If you're traveling with elderly relatives or children, make sure they know the basics. Have their IDs and boarding passes ready, take off shoes if required, and be prepared to remove jackets or bulky items. For kids, make sure they know what's coming so they're not scared or confused when they see the security scanners. A little preparation goes a long way in keeping the process smooth and efficient, and it saves everyone the frustration of waiting while someone fumbles through the steps. Backup boarding passes. One simple but often overlooked tip: always carry both a physical and a mobile boarding pass. Technology is great until it isn't. If your phone dies or the app glitches, you don't want to be left scrambling for a backup. By having both a digital and physical version of your boarding pass, you can avoid the stress of being pulled out of line to print another one. Many airports now have self-serve kiosks where you can print a boarding pass if needed, but it's always better to have it ready beforehand. Snacks and gifts. Who doesn't love a good travel snack? Bringing your own snacks is a great way to avoid overpriced airport food, but you need to be mindful of TSA's rules. Solid foods like sandwiches, fruit, or chips are fine to bring, but anything spreadable, like peanut butter or hummus, falls under the liquid category and must follow the 3.4-ounce rule. And here's a tip for holiday travelers: don't wrap your gifts before going through security. TSA agents may need to inspect the contents, and if your gifts are wrapped, they'll likely have to tear off that beautiful paper you worked so hard on. Instead, bring the gifts unwrapped and wrap them when you arrive at your destination. Electronics are a big part of modern travel, and they often need to be screened separately at TSA checkpoints. To avoid any confusion, make sure your devices, especially common ones like laptops, are labeled. This way you can quickly identify your device once it's through the scanner, and you won't have to worry about grabbing someone else's by mistake. Equally important, charge your devices before heading to the airport. Sometimes TSA agents might ask you to power on your laptop or tablet during screening. If your device is dead and you don't have the charger easily accessible, it can cause a significant delay. Having a fully charged device ensures you're prepared for any unexpected requests. Once you've made it through the scanner, resist the urge to touch other people's bins to make room for your own. It might seem like a small thing, but moving someone else's belongings can cause confusion and frustration. Stick to handling your own items and leave the rest to the TSA agents. They'll organize the bins and help ensure that everyone gets their belongings without unnecessary disruptions. Preparation is key when it comes to airport security. From packing smart to staying organized and following these 26 tips, you can make your way through TSA without the stress and frustration that so many travelers face. And if something unexpected happens, like getting flagged for additional screening, remember to stay calm and follow instructions. The smoother you make the process for yourself, the faster you'll be on your way to your flight. Safe travels, and remember, a little preparation goes a long way.